Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk about a question that I get asked all the time. And I get asked this question from current clients, from prospective clients, from friends in the industry, and all over the map. So I thought that this would be a really good one to talk about today on the podcast. So, this question is around how you're serving your clients. Are you serving them one to one, via group, and which is better? Okay. And so I'm going to break this down and I'm just going to dive right in and start by saying one is not better and one is not worse. Okay. And I want to talk about a couple of different angles around each of these and maybe how you make the decision about what it is that you're going to do and how you're going to serve your clients. Okay. So there are a lot of coaches out there who I think don't feel confident coaching in a group setting when they are newer coaches. Okay. And that's fine. There's zero wrong with that. And so when people are sometimes trying to decide, well, do I do group or do I do one to one? If I can tell that they are like very, very new to coaching, they maybe haven't like really refined their systems and their methodologies and things like that for getting their clients results, perhaps they might want to start with one-to-one coaching, but that's not a definite. And to me, you don't necessarily have to start with one-to-one coaching. I'm just kind of going to share different thoughts on different angles of this because I have quite a lot of them. So if you feel that you really want to get your hands dirty, you really want to deep dive with people, and you want to do one-to-one, and you feel confident in that, but not in a group setting, 100% go for it. Go do one-to-one. And here's the thing, people have this belief that one-to-one coaching isn't scalable. And that's not true either, because there's a lot of different ways to scale a business. You don't necessarily just scale a business by adding more and more clients. And I know coaches out there who charge $10,000 plus for any type of one-to-one coaching. And that might be for like 1 or 2 months. So there's a lot of different ways to build and scale a business. And I think when you're first getting started, you don't necessarily have to prioritize scaling as like the number one thing. And because there's a lot of chatter about that out there, like scaling your business. And I think sometimes people who are more at the beginning stages of their business, they're just like, listening to all of that and they're worried about scaling when they haven't even gotten consistent clients yet. So hopefully that's making sense. Then let's talk about group coaching, right? That group coaching is all I do. It's all I really offer. I do some private high-end consulting, and I want to talk a little bit about why and why I think that there are a lot of benefits to that as well. So with group coaching, right? Let's see, where do I want to start here? Because I have a lot to say about this. Okay. So what I have noticed, and I'll tell you guys a little bit of my background in coaching because I've done both. All right. I've done both. Now, when I was working for a fitness business coaching company, working for them, it was pretty much all one-on-one coaching. And I did that for 3.5 years. And then when I was starting Authentic Conversion, even before I launched my actual coaching program, and I was doing my Done For You content service, and I had a couple of private coaching clients, and these were not people I marketed to. It was people who knew me from other things and who had reached out to me. I was doing some one-on-one coaching. And even when I launched my marketing intensive program that I've been now running for years, it started as a hybrid model. So there was some group and some one-on-one. And let me tell you what my experience with private coaching has been with newer coaches, I'm going to say, right? So I actually love doing high-end private consulting with clients of mine who are already into multiple six figures, maybe want to get to like high six figures or even into the millions. That's where I think getting really clear and really specific, really directed private consulting is massive. It makes a huge, huge difference. But I will tell you, because most of my coaching clients over the years have been more beginners, right? So even back like when I was working with personal trainers and brick and mortar gym owners, many of them were more beginners, either meaning startup or, only making a few $1,000s a month or something like that. And the same has been true in my coaching company now. And I love that. I love working with newer coaches, people who are not yet into scaling, people who are really just looking to get started, hit six figures, create some consistency, create stability in their business. And here has been my experience over and over and over again. It's actually what I've witnessed also from many clients who have come to work with me. I very, very strongly believe that the best path for newer coaches is a group coaching program. And here's why. My experience when I was especially working for the other company in doing like all this private coaching was that it's not actually needed and it's not actually the thing that helps people move forward the fastest. What creating an incredible group coaching program has done for me in my business is drastically change my clients' results, because here's what it has forced me to do as the coach, as the mentor, as the creator who's putting all of this together, is that it has forced me to create a streamlined process, a progressive plan where every single week of that startup period into your first six figures is completely mapped out, right? So my coaching program now is 16 weeks. Every single week is progressive and it builds on the last. We start with offer creation, we go into messaging, we go into pitching and selling, we go into launching, we go into content creation, we go into long-term growth strategy, right? So that's like the whole process. And I will tell you guys, when I was trying to do all this custom coaching for newer coaches, again, pre six figures, anywhere from startup to pre six figures, it just was all over the place. Like the client results were totally unpredictable. And I don't think it was a fault of the client. And I don't actually think it was a fault of the coaching either. It was a fault of not having a process. And in my opinion, the very best thing that someone who is just getting started can do or experience is a very dialed in process. So let me say, whether you're going to coach your clients privately, whether you're going to coach your clients in a group, make sure that you are focused on developing your framework, your methodology, your process that is designed to help the client and to create duplicatable, repeatable results. Now, this doesn't mean just slap a cookie cutter program down, right? So even though I have a very dialed in process that I have seen create six and multi six figure coaches over and over and over and over again, it's not cookie cutter, right? So the marketing methodology, the offer creation methodology, the sales methodology doesn't actually need to change for people in order to get them great results, but all of the inner workings, the messaging, the branding, the energetics, the approach, those are the things that are very, very custom, right? So please don't confuse, because I know someone out there is going to be thinking this, please don't confuse me saying, talking about like a streamlined process when it comes to creating coaching offers as creating cookie cutter, because it is absolutely not the same thing, right? And coaching in itself by nature is not cookie cutter when you're having conversations with either individuals or in a group setting with individuals within a group setting, right? So I think that's a really important distinction. I don't believe in cookie cutter, like just go copy paste, here it is, right? There is customization within any program, whether you choose to work with people one-on-one or in a group. But I really think that this is an important conversation to have. And here's the other side of it. Here's the other thing that makes a big difference. So how do you like to coach? How are you designed to coach in a way that both energizes you and in a way that gets your clients the best results possible? And I'll use myself as an example. I am 100% designed to lead groups. And this has actually been true since my fitness days. So when I was a personal trainer, I worked with a ton of different types of clients and just kind of wrote custom workout plans and things like that. And we just did workouts, right? I was a personal trainer. It wasn't like all kinds of different coaching components. But I'm telling you guys, and this is going to sound really bad, but like pretty much none of my clients got results. Like some of them got stronger and they liked me and they kept coming and that kind of thing. But like no one actually had these incredible transformations. Fast forward to me having a boot camp, coaching up to 25 people per class, sometimes a little more, we get a little crowded sometimes. And we had an entire like room, a whole like walls full of before and after photos. And it's funny, right? Because the price of a private training session for me when I was working for Equinox was $105. That's what the client was paying. My average price monthly in my boot camp was about $130, $140. So basically for the price of 1.5 personal training sessions, people were getting an entire month of boot camp, and the transformations that were happening in that setting versus the private setting were magical. And I think that has to do with two things. First, having a very clear process that people follow to get that transformation and result versus like trying to like hyper customize and mold it to fit people's needs when they were like, they weren't even at mile marker 1, let alone, nearing 26 in this marathon of health and fitness or business, right? And the other side of that is your energy, the energetics of you and your business and how you are designed, right? Because we are all, I believe our like souls are designed to show up and to serve and to lead in certain ways will also impact which type of coaching you want to do. And you guys, I am personally 100% a group leader. I went to school to be a teacher. I have been a competitive dancer, but I always danced either like in groups, either small groups or large groups. I was captain of my dance team. Like I always have been a group leader. And so because of how coaching groups has helped me develop a very predictable, streamlined process to get my clients these incredible transformations. And because I am naturally designed to create extraordinary results for people within groups, that is the option that makes the most sense for me. Now, this might be sounding like I'm trying to sell you on doing group coaching. I'm not. I just wanted to kind of like share a little bit of my background because you might find that private coaching works better for you. I do really stand by, and I don't know that this is as applicable like with health and fitness. Perhaps it is, but I definitely stand by within business coaching that newer coaches, people who are like pre 6 figures or pre even low 6 figures, meaning like multiple hundreds of thousands, will actually be served better in a group setting where they have collaborative learning and where there is a very dialed in process. I think that, again, from my experience, and I coached privately hundreds of newer and startup coaches, drastically different results, like trying to go hyper custom with people who didn't even like know how to do the basic things versus giving them a mapped out process to be able to just go for it, implement, and learn much faster. So that has been my personal experience. Again, boot camp versus personal training, PT, is all right. Boot camp, walls of transformations, same thing. My coaching clients, when I worked for this other company and it was all private coaching, there were some really good ones. There were some that were not good, and everything in between. It was very unpredictable. My client results across the board now when it comes to the way that we deliver coaching, right, with a group setting. And there's so much to a group setting, right? It doesn't mean, you just dump people into a group and everyone's just a number. That is not how I show up. That is not how I serve my clients. We have a lot of processes for how we ensure we deliver those results to clients and deliver the content and the product and accountability and all of that stuff. But I'm telling you guys, drastically different results and much more predictable results, right? Either way, your client has to be willing to do the work, right? That's part of the deal with all like coaching and transformation programs and things like that. I will also say that you could have a hybrid model, right? So you could have a program, and this is what I started doing within the marketing intensive, where I had some private coaching and some group coaching. But I will say for me now, knowing how I'm wired and knowing how my clients get the best results possible in that group setting, the thing with private coaching that made me hold on to it longer than was good for me and longer than was good for my clients was this belief that I could actually control the outcomes and control the results more if I was meeting with people privately, or that people would see more value if they were getting my one-on-one time. When here's the deal. Value comes from the transformation. I always joke with my clients. I'm like, okay, so because I have to have this conversation with a lot of them as they're making that decision about if they're going to do one-on-one on group, or for many people who have started as a one-on-one and then they want to switch to group, but they're scared. I tell them all the time, I'm like, look, if I told you, and this is obviously hypothetical, that, you could pay me $25,000 and within 90 days, you would make $100,000 out of that guaranteed, no chance of failure. And I never spoke to you again. Would you be all in? And they're always like, yeah, of course. Right. And it's the same thing, right? So if you're, let's say like a weight loss coach or something like that, if you told someone, pay me the price of the program, let's say it's $2,000, right? The price of the program is $2,000 and you will 100% lose, 30 pounds over the next 90 days, but we're never going to speak. And that was like a guaranteed result, right? Again, it's just hypothetical. They would do it because it's not about the value as much as you're awesome and I'm awesome and I love you guys. It's not about the time people spend with you. Okay. It's about the transformation they're getting. That's where true value comes from. And then the other thing that I started to touch on, and this is a conversation I have had to have with myself and with many clients over the years, is that I think when we are holding on to private coaching, even though we want to do group, or maybe we start with private coaching and we want to start with group, is that we can kind of convince ourselves, if we're having private conversations with people, that we can control the outcomes more, that we can monitor their behavior more, that we can, manipulate the result more. And when I say manipulate, it's not in a bad way, right? It's like, hey, I have more control over this person. I'm like their puppet master and I can make sure they do all the things. And none of that is actually true, right? And also, people have to be self-motivated and driven to actually do the work to create results, both in the short term and in the long term. So just breaking that down for you. And all of that said, right, a lot of this is based on my own experience and my own perspective and how my clients get results in many, many years of doing all of this, right? So what I want to kind of end by saying is that one is not better and one is not worse. It's just explore the reasons why you want to do one or the other. Is it fear-based, right? Are you wanting to do one-on-one? Are you wanting to do group because, something is making you afraid of doing the other thing, even if it's what you actually want to do? Second thing is, like, think about yourself. How are you wired? How are you best designed to show up and to interact with people? It's so clear to me that I'm a group person, and you should have some type of like inclination about how you are designed as well. And then the third thing is, look at the predictability of the results you want to get with your clients, right? And how can you best deliver that in a process to where you feel really confident when you say to people, hey, I believe we can get this transformation. What is that exact process that you bring people through? And everyone's going to need a process, right? Because that's part of what creates those duplicatable results. But also, you might want to just be a private coach forever. But if you do down the line have an interest in, scaling beyond yourself or having a team and things like that, it can't just be the Nicole show or the you show. And you are going to have that process that you can teach other people to coach other clients and things like that through. So these are just a lot of really powerful things to consider. And like I said, one's not better, one's not worse. It's like, what is best for you and your clients and your business? And yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I do hope that that is particularly helpful for you. And there's nothing wrong with starting with one and then moving to another. There's nothing wrong with doing a hybrid. There's nothing wrong with the decisions you make. It's just think about, okay, well, why am I doing it this way? Is this most aligned to how I best serve people? What is going to get my clients the best possible results? And I will share, I said this before, but I want to just share this again. For me, because there's a lot of obviously people wanting to build businesses listening to this podcast. For me, the best thing a newer coach, again, a startup or pre-six-figure coach can do is get themselves in a group coaching program, right? You don't need lots of hand-holding and customization. Well, first of all, you can't have hand-holding and have a successful business. Like, that can't be part of your deal, right? Like, entrepreneurship, that is next level. That is one of the hardest things humans can do. Absolutely, get support, get guidance, but don't expect someone to like literally sit down and hold your hand and look over your shoulder and do all the things with you. That's not what's going to actually serve you best in the long run or the short term. But get yourself in a group coaching program that has proven results, that is extremely process driven, where you can get that process, that accountability, and you can learn all of those things. And then once you're beyond six or into multiple six figures, that's where things like custom coaching and private consulting and things like that can be really, really powerful. I personally will not coach people if they are not already into multiple six figures privately. So that is because that's where, again, that real customization in terms of like strategy and things like that is required. There's a very simple process. That's exactly what I teach my clients in my marketing intensive, that startup to pre-six-figure coaches need to get off the ground. It works over and over and over and over again. And then as you grow as an entrepreneur, as your vision grows, as your goals evolve, as you want to create new offers and opportunities for yourself and things like that, as you want to talk about hiring team and staffing and like really stepping into that CEO role, I think that's where that becomes really, really powerful, that more custom consulting. But in the beginning, for me, for business coaching clients, the best thing you can do is get yourself in a group coaching program. I have seen this now from experience coaching over 2,000 clients over 8 years, hands down, all the time. It's like, it's just the best thing. So anyway, that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And yeah, you can let me know how that sits and how that resonates. And you can do so by jumping over into my free Facebook group, Authentic Conversion, Organic Six-Figure Online Coaching Business, or you can shoot me a DM on social media. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with you, and I will see you in the next episode.